on to our next speaker, Muzaffer Baca, who's the Vice President at IBC in the Middle East, and he would be talking about COVID-19 response program in Syria, Yemen, and recently in Libya. Over to you, Muzaffer.
Hi, everybody, and thanks to Department of Global Communication Civil Society Unit to allocate us this opportunity to introduce the problem that we are facing in the Middle East region, especially in the MENA region, not only Middle East and North Africa region. As you know, the Syrian crisis is not just a political crisis or a humanitarian crisis, but it has its effects on the health issues of the region also. Turkish government, taking this pandemic as a global pandemic, has launched a campaign to assist all the countries around Turkey and worldwide to supply them, to provide them with corona response kits, respirators, testing units and protective units. And between 151 countries that have requested the Turkish government assistance, 132 of them, they got assistance from the Turkish government. In this framework, as a Turkish NGO, International Blue Crescent also is very active to respond to the corona cases in Syria, in Yemen, and Libya. As you know, Syria, Yemen, and Libya are the most prone countries for the corona pandemic, for the impact of the corona pandemic, because of their very, very poor health infrastructure. For example, in Yemen, testing is almost around 10,000, and between them 327 cases have been positive, and from them 81 people died. That shows that almost one of the 4 people who have been tested positive, they are dying. According to London research, if it goes this way in Yemen, around 460,000 people will be infected and around 64,000 people will lose their lives because of the corona. There are no records, there are no statistics that we can trust. The same applies to North Syria and inside Syria also. Because the American embargo started to affect very badly the state-controlled, Assad-controlled area of Syria, there is a very big deficit, a very big problem to acquire medicine for the ordinary people and also for the state. Regarding North Syria, the case is worse because there are no enough facilities to test the corona or also to respond to the corona. I don't want to go in the further details for Libya, for example. Libya is almost divided, and their health capacity is able to do just 20,800 tests until now, and from those tests, 571 are positive and 10 died. That shows that the impact of the corona is not assessed, is not calculated yet in those countries, and how big danger is for the worldwide community also, because there is no control, there is no assessment, there is no real figures, and also response capacity in those countries. What IBC is doing in those countries? Thank you for providing me the first slide. We are doing public awareness campaigns in the camps in Syria and in Yemen, and also in different areas in Libya. Especially priority we are giving to the schools and the children, because they are the most prone to the corona, because they are not aware about the protective measures. In addition, in the camps, we are doing common projects with their families also. Next slide, please. In addition to the public awareness campaigns, we are providing corona test kits to the health units in Syria, in Yemen, and Libya. In Syria, we provided about 3,000 corona test kits and about 1,000 infrared thermometers and protective kits to the 8 hospitals and 9 public health units that they are dealing with the corona. 4 of these hospitals are related with the Turkish Health Ministry, which is the main responding agency against corona pandemic in North Syria. Next slide, please. In Yemen, we did the same for the 26 health units, emergency health units that they are still operative against any epidemic. Now they are using mainly against the pandemic of corona, those emergency health units. There are in total 559 emergency health units all over the country, so to respond to any epidemics, but unfortunately just 25 of them are operational, and we are providing to them again corona test kits and corona infrared thermometers, so to do the test in the camps or for those who are applying to those emergency centers. But the problem in Yemen is there is no enough facilities, bedding facilities, and also corona isolation units. So we need to focus on them also. In addition to the provision of test kits and infrared thermometers and protective materials, we do disinfection campaigns in the settlements where those people are living. Believe me, it is like it is worse than the animal living areas. Those areas, there is no hygienic capacity, there is no hygienic measures. So if such a pandemic impact starts in those areas, the results will be tragic. Please go to the next slide. As you see in the slide also, we do prepare corona protection packages. We have a center in Kilis and in Turkey where in our community center we are producing the masks and a lot of protective kits, and we are providing them to all of these 3 countries free of charge. Until now, we provide more than 100,000 masks in Syria, about 30,000 masks in Yemen. Some of them, around 10,000 of them, they are professional masks that the doctors are using, because we need to protect them also first against the infection in the hospitals. Next slide, please. As you see, we have also public awareness. In the public awareness campaigns, we are printing tens of thousands of different brochures in the different languages, in Arabic, in English, or other languages, and we are distributing them to the people where we are responding. And until now, we got very good results, especially with the banners in the central transport locations, in the main avenues, and also in the schools, in the mosques. Next slide, please. As I summarized, it's the last slide, sorry for that. As I summarized, International Blue Crescent is an NGO, international NGO. Its headquarters in Turkey, but we are working very closely also with the governments and the health ministers of those countries, in addition with the United Nations, World Health Organization, UNHCR, and IOM during our activities. Thank you again for allocating us the time to provide some information about what we are doing, and I'm ready to respond to any related question with the question and answers. I wanted to add something else. You know, in those countries, in Yemen and in Libya, there is a lockdown. In Libya, the lockdown is in the night times and the weekends, 24 hours. In Yemen, in some areas like Mukalla, like Hadramut, they are for all the days. That's why it creates a big problem, logistic problem, to reach those people who are affected. In order to overcome this challenge, we are cooperating very closely with the health ministry, local units, and also with the security, because not only the coordination is important, but the security of our staff, and to protect our staff against the pandemic is also very important. So we have a lot of guidelines and protective measures to protect our staff. Regarding North Syria, you know, Turkey also had a lockdown, and in order to assess North Syria, we mobilized our teams inside North Syria. And because we have our offices, and also we have implemented since 7 years a lot of food, hygiene, infrastructure, camp projects. In order to be more effective during this pandemic, we kept our staff inside Syria and we didn't move them to Turkey. And in addition, we got a lot of measures to protect them against the pandemic. Regarding how to reach those who are the most affected, we are cooperating very closely with the health ministers and their health units in the field, because they have the first information about what is going on regarding this pandemic issue. And in addition, we know very well where is the most poverty affected people. So we are running first to those areas where these poverty issues are extremely high, and in addition, where there is no any health facility and infrastructure to respond to the pandemic. Thank you very much. The migrant population is the most vulnerable population in any host country. You know, they are under discrimination, they get the less services, they are abandoned from the general community, and also always they are watched as a threat to the interests of the local communities. And one of the main challenges that we are facing is the integration of the migrant communities with the host communities. This affects, of course, the situation in this pandemic issue also, because really in some countries, especially in Europe or here in Turkey, there is a suspiciousness that the migrant communities are more prone to the pandemic. This may be in one hand true because they don't have access to the health services like the host communities, but on the other hand, the migrant communities are a contribution to the community. We need to increase our public awareness campaigns in order to convince the host communities that these people are equal to them and they are in need of equal treatment and access to their health services, and also to be protected against this pandemic, because if they are affected from this pandemic, it will be impacted to the local communities also. The other challenge with the migrant communities, disadvantage with the migrant communities, is their economic situation and also their legal situation. For example, here in Turkey, we have this 3.5 million Syrian refugees. We don't treat them as refugees according to the UN laws. We are treating them as guests that later on they will leave and they will go to their countries. But such a opportunity is not existing in the reality, because almost more than the half of this community is integrated to Turkey. They establish their businesses, they find their jobs, and some of them they started to get Turkish citizenship. In this case, in Turkey, especially in the communities that have poverty problems, there is a prejudice started against those migrant communities and the refugees. They are thinking that they get their jobs because the jobless rate is very high now in Turkey. They are thinking that they distorted the community. A lot of accusations are starting. This is even it becomes to be a hate problem against the migrant communities. In this case, of course, NGOs like us and all the civil society must do a lot of things of public awareness about the migrant communities' contribution to the host communities, and also to do integration activities that will be very, very crucial in order to protect the migrant communities against the general community, the host community.